Hey guys, King of Charmants here. Alright, so everyone really likes these early analysis. Since Great League is already out and there's a lot of analysis on it, I want to pick a few mons that you can highlight because Great League will come back. And as of right now, there's not really any Pokemon in the foreseeable future that are going to come out and is going to really shift the Great League meta other than what it is right now. At least that's to be determined. But as of right now, we do know something. So next week, you're going to see Premier Cup for the Ultra League version. So Ultra League version of Premier Cup is going to come out. So that means early analysis and PvPoke.com actually came out with the training sim, which I'm really happy about. So I've gotten to see a few things that you might see at the Ultra League Premier Cup, and it's just I haven't actually dove into it like really hard up until now. So Ultra League Premier Cup is really interesting because there's no legendaries, which means you're not going to see Stupid Dragon. Dark Dragon is no longer here. You're not going to see Stupid Ice Bird. You're not going to see Giant Heavy Metal Trash Can that even though it's supposedly nerfed, it's not nerfed that hard. No, really, it's not. Nerdy Steel is still really good for any league. They nerfed Lock On by 5 energy and the Focus Blast by 10 damage. The Flash Cannon matters a little bit. The Focus Blast not that much. But you're not going to, in other words, you're not going to see Trash Can. So you're not going to see Trash. You will not see Trash. You only have to see Flying Duck thing that even though its debuff is now 10%, you're not going to see that either. So you will not see any legendaries in Ultra Premier. And you know what that means? A whole new fun meta where if you don't have any legendary Pokemon prepared for Go Battle League, guess what? You can do Ultra Premier League. And we're going to check it out right now. Alright, so just like how you guys see on the thumbnail in the video, we're going to do an analysis on the regular, and then we're going to dive into shadows because shadows are really interesting compared to their original cousins for the Ultra League Premier Cup meta. Now, as I would always say, please consider contributing to PvPoke.com. An amazing website. I love it. It helps me do everything I want to do. So if you guys really would love to, please donate. And now we shall get started with the Ultra League Premier Cup. Now I'm going to do regular and then I'll do shadows, or rather I'll do like a combination of both and then I'll do specifically shadows. Because with the Team Rocket Go Fest event that came out before, with the Team Rocket event that came out before, there's a lot of shadows that are out now, including the ones you want to use for Ultra League. As you see here, great Ultra League Premier Cup. As you see here, you see what do you see a lot? Oh, what's good, Swampert? Sadly, I know, a lot of you probably hated Swampert in Ultra League, as far as like just regular Ultra League, because it's very powerful. Unfortunately, you're going to see it a lot in Premier Cup as well. It's just really good. Now, the reason why Swampert is so good is because Mudshot and Hydro Cannon, the speed is great, and based on what you beat is just incredible. You beat Charizard, you beat Gengar, you beat Machamp, you beat Empoleon, and you beat Lapras. Now, of course, this is all considering the ones. We'll analyze more deeper matchups, but as you see here, the Swampert is a force to be reckoned with. Now, if you're used to playing Master League Premier Cup, Ultra League Premier Cup, as far as like if you flip them upside down, they don't really have like, as you see in Master League Premier Cup, you lose against Togekiss. Same thing with here, you'll lose against Togekiss and Dragonite, of course. Same thing, not as strongly, but they're still out there. So just keep that in mind. Now, the thing about something I really want to key in on for Ultra League Premier is that Ultra League Premier is very fast-paced compared to regular Ultra League. So now Ultra League, you have like 5-minute rounds. 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to see a lot of that. Well, you'll probably still see some of long rounds, but as you see, like Swampert, Venusaur, like even just looking at the top 10, all of these hit really fast and really hard. Swampert with Hydro Cannon, Venusaur with Frenzy Plant, you have Machamp with Cross Chop with Rock Slide, and you got Obama Snow. If you did not post your ballots for Obama Snow 2020, then what are you doing? Make sure you hit the polls and make sure you vote for Obama Snow. But yes, Obama Snow Shadow version in Ultra League is a force to be reckoned with. You want to know why? There's something called the Venusaur Swampert core, which is very, very good and very heavy. So this beats the Venusaur Swampert core. You also have the added bonus of being Gengar. You beat Togekiss, and guess what? Dragonite. Now, you do lose against Charizard and Machamp, of course, like with anybody that uses Obama Snow. But Obama Snow is still very usable because, like I said, it breaks a lot of cores. And as a lead, it's very scary because this is the lead that beats these leads, and you pretty much only lose against Machamp. You lose against Machamp, and you still beat Honchkrow, so you could still be not you still beat Honchkrow with Obama Snow. So the thing about Premier, like I mentioned, it's really fast and really hard hitting. You got Honchkrow, you got Gengar, you got Machamp, you got Shadow Machamp. These are things that are really, really strong. Now, there's this little pain in the butt called Drifblim. As you see here, rates very, very highly. So you might want to look out for that, but we'll go deeper into that. Anyways, I'm going to go into each and every one in each and every role. Leads, closer, switches. What I think might be the best one, the best lead closer in Switch. Well, not really the best. So when I analyze metas, like how I've broken into a lot of metas, you can't really analyze what most patterns are going to be until the meta actually starts. In other words, you can see a ton of Swampert, and then you can see a ton of Venusaur. You can see a ton of Machamp. But generally, you have Venusaur is really good for Premier Cup. That's why it's rated so high. Overall, Venusaur is a monster. Because you beat Swampert, Togekiss, you beat a lot of choices. Including Lapras and Empoleon, which is really interesting because you would think Empoleon with Drill Peck would beat Venusaur. Well, it does in some scenarios. We'll cover that. So your number one lead is Honchkrow. Now, the reason why Honchkrow is such a great lead, you beat all three starters. And what I mean by three starters is that Charizard's really good in this meta. But you beat Venusaur, Swampert, and Charizard. Of course, you beat Gengar, and also you beat Escavalier. You beat fighters with Honchkrow. Now, you got to be careful with Machamp. We'll explore that a bit, but as you see here, you have really strong matchups right here. I don't know why G-Stunfisk is in here. It's very strong. Of course, any flyer is weak against G-Stunfisk. However, as you see here, you have your key losses are against Empoleon, Lapras. Empoleon because of Empoleon just wrecks, and it's very strong. So, as you see, that's why Honchkrow is first. It's a very odd pick, but Snarl plus Brave Bird and Sky Attack hit very fast and very hard. And Honchkrow is just the glass cannon to begin with. In fact, your top two picks are actually top three picks are all glass cannons. Honchkrow, Magnezone, Gengar. Magnezone makes its grand return. As much as this annoyed you in Master League, guess what? The flying UFO thing is here to stay, and it's here to come and wreck you really, really hard. Now, the thing that I know it's surprising. You beat Venusaur. What? What? Yeah, we'll explore that shortly. So I'm gonna look at Magnezone, Honchkrow, and Gengar, Swampert and Venusaur. So I'm gonna look at a specific 5, but these are your leads. Charizard's still very strong because you do beat Venusaur and Togekiss. Togekiss can still come. If you want my personal opinion, because Venusaur is going to be around everywhere, I don't think Togekiss is going to be around a lot, unless for some reason fighters start coming back. But there's a reason why fighters other than Machamp, because Shadow Machamp is a great lead because you beat, well, if you look at the comparison, there's not much of a difference between what you beat. With Shadow Machamp, you beat Swampert. And in regular, so that's a big difference. So if you use Shadow Machamp, you beat Swampert. If you use regular Machamp, you lose against Swampert. Just because of the shadow damage. And Swampert in Ultra League is thicker than its other two cousins, except for Master League. Because Master League Swampert's thick. Interesting enough, you also have Galad. Gallade is actually very powerful. Confusion, Close Combat, Leaf Blade. You beat Venusaur, you beat Swampert, you beat Machamp, you beat Escavalier, and Empoleon, which is very surprising. It's mostly because Close Combat hits like a truck, and Leaf Blade is also very, very strong. Now, of course, you lose against Charizard, Dragonite, just because Confusion and Close Combat and Leaf Blade don't do anything about Charizard, but as you see, you got some interesting picks like Galad. Okay, so that's the leads. Your top 5 are very good. I'm personally experimenting with Honchkrow. Honchkrow is very much like Shiftry. For those of you that know me, I love Shiftry. Shiftry is very strong. Unfortunately, if you use Shiftry for Premier Cup, for Ultra League Premier Cup, unfortunately it rates at 122. That's just because even though it beats all of the heavy hitters like Drifblim, etc., you lose against Venusaur, you lose against Machamp, you lose against Lapras. These are very good possibilities. I might give it a shot, depending on how many Swamperts in the league, because as you see, it still has very strong matchups. I love Shiftry. But that's one of the spice picks I'm considering. Another spice pick I'm considering, well, just for a little bit. Blissey actually isn't a bad mon. Well, it's kind of bad, but I'm not gonna get there. That's me having fun. But if you see Toxicroak's another one. Toxicroak's a little fun one, just because you beat Venusaur, you beat Escavalier, Machamp, Togekiss. Toxicroak instantly beats most of the fighter core. And you also beat Venusaur and Togekiss, so it's a pretty good bonus. The problem is you lose against Swampert, of course. Charizard, Gengar, Galad. Especially Galade. This thing will just murder you. Like, yeah, anything with confusion will kill the Toxicroak very, very fast. Shadow Snorlax. Snorlax is a very powerful switch. In Ultra League, it's very strong. In Ultra League for Premier Cup, it's still very strong. As you see here, very good matchups. That's your Shadow version. Regular version, unfortunately, isn't as strong as its Shadow cousin. You rate at 29, which is still really good. The only thing is, though, the big difference is that Shadow beats Venusaur, while the regular one doesn't. And that can be huge. Because regular Snorlax, like regular Snorlax is it's still good, don't get me wrong. It's just that the fact that you flip that matchup against Venusaur, because you're going to see Venusaur a lot. Like Venusaur's a staple, easy to obtain, and a lot of you have it with Frenzy Plant. It's been around for a while, so it's an easy mon that a lot of people probably have and a lot of candy for it. So it's great utility. I will also have a budget section, so then you'll see that. But that's our leads. Now, for the closers, you have Shadow Electivire and Shadow Magnezone. Why? Because Wild Charge, baby! When shields are down, Wild Charge goes to town, and as you see, you take out a lot of stuff. It hurts a lot in the closer. You take out Charizard, Togekiss, Excavalier, Machamp, Lapras. Basically, you Wild Charge whatever doesn't resist your charges to death, and it really sucks. But that's Electivire. Magnezone pretty much for the same purpose. You pretty much beat the same things with Magnezone. The only thing is like if you look at what's different is you lose against Machamp, which can be huge. So Magnezone Shadow for Ultra League still has some good prominence, but Electivire is definitely the way to go because Wild Charge wrecks. Now, if you look at this, like Venusaur Shadow is another closer that you might want to look at because it's so strong. The shadow damage with Frenzy Plant is nuts, and that's why it's rated as the number 3 closer. Obviously, Honchkrow is on here because, like I stated before, Honchkrow with Brave Bird and Snarl is just monstrous. It's monstrous. You'll get there really quick. An interesting pick is Star Raptor because you have Brave Bird in close combat. So with Brave Bird, close combat is really interesting because you get to beat Steels. You beat Steels, you beat Ice types, but before I mention that, the reason why it's interesting about the Ice type thing is because you lose against Empoleon and Lapras. So before you think you're invincible against Ice, don't just be careful. You're good. Interesting enough, Lucario is here as well because close combat, wrecks, and you wreck Swampert, Empoleon, Lapras. Basically everything Ice and Steel, Lucario will wreck, and Lucario is very strong in Premier Cup. Without Giratina running around, Gira and Cresselia running around rampant, Lucario is actually really, really good without legendaries coming out. It's very good. As you see here, it beats a lot of good picks. For all of you that are about to flex your shiny Lucario, it's pretty dang good. And as you see, Venusaur still rates very high. Another surprise might be Heracross for all of you. Now, the thing about the fighters as a closer, they all beat a general thing. You beat Swampert, you beat Excavalier. Basically, you beat Steels and you beat Swampert. You're gonna lose Venusaur. So just be careful what your choice is. There's a lot of variety here, though. I wouldn't mess with Mamoswine, but if you really want to look at Mamoswine, yeah, there's better picks for this. You can pick Mamoswine. So yeah, okay. Kingdra's another interesting one because the Dragon and Ice. Now you'll obviously lose against Togekiss, so all the Charmers here are gonna wreck your day if you encounter one. However, for the most part, Kingdra's still very, very, very good. You have Magneton Shadow. You have Luxray. Well, don't use Magneton. Just don't. Use Magnezone. Use Zone. Don't even think about using Magneton. Please don't. Just don't. But I see there's a lot of spice picks. As far as a closer, now that we get there, there's one I was looking at, and no. I thought about it. I thought about Weavile. I really did. But it's just you just lose way too hard to excav. If you see a fighter, you're dead because ice and dark. If you see a fighter, you're dead. So I would not recommend thinking of using Weavile. As far as closers go, let's see. What's my spice closer? All right, so it's probably not it's not even to the top. My spice closer isn't near the top actually. My spice closer is actually not Hydreigon either. Hydreigon's really sweet, but you see Dark Pulse and Dragon Pulse just don't do a thing. The Dark and Ice, it would be a really interesting typing. The problem is, act. I want to make it work. It's just you see you lose against Swampert. But I was thinking for me, I was actually thinking of Hydreigon. Hydreigon beats Snorlax. You can beat Snorlax. You beat Venusaur, you beat Charizard. You lose against Swampert, but barely. So you barely lose against Swampert. And obviously fighters are still running rampant, but because of the dragon typing, because of the dragon dark typing, you wall Gengar and you wall Drifblim. So you wall all elemental attackers. You also wall the ghost part for as long as you have shields. Because if you don't have shields and Drifblim hits you, it's gonna suck. But this was my spice closer. We'll see how effective it actually is. I want to run it, but as you see, you beat almost all you. It's very strong. And also another spice closer that's nowhere near the freaking top. Well, actually, it's nowhere near the top, but it's actually pretty like up here. So the one I was looking at is actually, if you look at Ludicolo, well, actually no, it wasn't Ludicolo. Which one was I thinking about? Obstagoon was. I was looking at Obstagoon. Obstagoon, you don't want to. Ironically, Obstagoon with this version beats Togekiss just because of Gunk Shot. You will Gunk Shot it to death. So as far as the closer for my now Hydreigon was something I'm looking at. If you want to like be really spicy, you'll do fine with Venusaur, with a regular Venusaur, a Swampert. Regular Swampert still does very good. If you don't have really like Honchkrow does really well. If you don't have those mons, Gengar does really well. I'd use that. But as if you wanted I would use this. This is just use the tops. Like I said, Venusaur will serve you very well in all dimensions. Swampert comes back to give you a lot of value, and a lot of you guys have Gengars with Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, Shadow Punch. It's still really good. You only lose against the water types, but you beat a lot of these. And there are some scenarios where Shadow Ball will KO these if there's no shields. And we'll get to that later. Alright, so that's for switches, Drifblim. If you have a Hundo Drifblim, I'm jealous, and you should probably best buddy it immediately. The reason being is Drifblim with Icy Wind, Shadow Ball, and Hex is super good. I'm not the only one saying this. There are a lot of top content creators telling you that Drifblim is amazing. If you have a Hundo, get it ready because it's really, 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 really good. Really good. Use Drifblim as your switch. As an alternative, you can use Electivire if you have the Shadow version because it absolutely murders a lot of things except Swampert. So if you don't lock it against Swampert, be careful. But it runs. Electivire is very. This is what I'm looking at. I want to play with this, and it's very strong. But Drifblim is very powerful as well. Drifblim, if you have a Hundo Drifblim, best buddy it right now as fast as you can. Because it's really freaking good. Really, really good. Like, I'm not kidding you. Really, really. Icy Wind is a horrific move because it debuffs and it creates a lot of scenarios where you can find win cons. Drifblim. Drifblim. In other words, your switches are Drifblim. Drifblim. Like, I'm not even joking. Use it. Use it. It's really that good. Like, I've tested it, I've simmed it, and it's just... One sec. Okay. So before we continue, because we're at the switches anyways, this is Drifblim. Alright, so do this. You go to battle, go to freaking Matrix battle, then you go against Drifblim. So if you go against I'm going to show you just how good Drifblim is. And now we're gonna go back. We're gonna go straight to the matrices. So I'm gonna do this matrix. So we're gonna do this matrix. We are going to do all of Ultra League Premier Cup meta. So we're gonna do Ultra League. Oh wait, hold on. Quick fill. We're going to do. Oh wait, it's not available. Nani? Okay, hold on. Here, let me figure this out. So there's the matrix, new custom group. Oh, it's because I haven't put this one yet. So let's see. Let me put Drifblim. I actually haven't tested out to see if Matrix actually works with this. We'll put Drifblim and we'll add a custom group, Great League. No, this is, oh wow, okay. Ultra League. And then we're gonna add, we'll just do the Ultra League meta. We'll ignore legendaries, so we'll take out legendaries. So we'll take out Articuno, we'll take out Cresselia. We'll take out, let's see, we'll just run down the list and do it that way. This is the manual way of doing it. Like, it's not that bad to take out. Like, you just take out what's legendary. And really, there's not a lot. Legendary, mythicals as well. Mythicals are removed, so legendaries and mythicals are gone. Keep that in mind. So all we're gonna do, this is like the long way of doing it. That's fine though. This is like the general anyways, and it has like Swampert and everything. Okay, perfect. We'll add Shadow Swampert. We'll add Shadow Swampert. I did create a template ahead of time because like I said, this is the first time I'm looking at this. So I wanted to like this, yeah. This is the first time I'm looking at it. So then I didn't really create like a See All Master template of what you should look at for like as far as like, okay, we're gonna add that. We'll add Electivire. Electivire, and then we'll add Honchkrow. We'll add Honchkrow. Honchkrow, let's see, what else do we want to add? We'll add Honchkrow. I believe Dragonite's already on there, so we don't need to worry about that for Ultra League. What else is really, really good? Venusaurs are... I believe both variants of Venusaur are already in here. Yeah, we have Venusaur. We'll add Shadow Venusaur as well. Shadow Venusaur. We'll add Venusaur Shadow version. Let's add the Venusaur Shadow version. And then... There you go. Typhlosion, Swampert, Mach, Gengar, Ferrothorn, Excavalier, Charizard, Blastoise. You got Bama. So Bama's in the Ultra League meta. Let's see. We got that. Both Machamps. We'll add Lucario in here since he's pretty high up there. We'll also add Lucario. And then we'll save this as Ultra Premier meta for my reference later. This is what you want to do. If you want to run a simple mon against an entire meta, you can just create your own quick fill and then just run it across everyone. So we're gonna run it all. We'll do the 2s and then the 1s. Actually, we'll run the 1s first because the 1's like standard. So as you see, Drifblim, you beat Blastoise, Charizard, which is interesting considering you resist. Well, Icy Wind does neutral damage. You beat Blastoise, you beat Charizard, you beat Dragonite because of Icy Wind, Excavalier. You lose against Ferrothorn. Gramble, you beat Machamp. You beat both versions of Machamp. So both versions of Machamp will lose to Drifblim in the 1s. You also beat Meganium. Well, I don't know what 666. You do lose against some fighters, which is kind of like Obstagoon, Poliwrath because of the dark typing, and Poliwrath because it's a water type, because Icy Wind does neutral. You do lose against Snorlax, well, because Snorlax and Lick. You beat Venusaur, so you'll beat Venusaur. You beat Shadow Swampert. You beat Venusaur. You beat Venusaur. You beat Shadow Swampert. I think you beat regular Swampert as well. Yeah, you beat Shadow. You beat Lucario. Where's Swampert? Swampert's here somewhere. I have to put him in alphabetical order. There's Swampert. So you beat Shadow Swampert, but you lose against regular Swampert. But let's take a look at the 2 shield. So let's see. This is the 2 shield scenario. This is our 2 shields. So that's the 1. Here's the 2s. You lose against Bombas, you still beat Blastoise. You'll lose against Charizard in the 2s just because of Dragon Claw, but that's very date dependent. You beat Dragonite, of course, Excavalier, Ferrothorn. You still beat both Machamps pretty handily. You still beat Meganium. You beat Poliwrath in the 2s, Shreptile, Scizor, Swampert, Venusaur, Shadow Swampert still, and you beat Venusaur and Lucario. So that's the 2s. Now that's the 0s if you really had to go there with Drifblim. He's still pretty strong. We'll run the 0s. Now this is where it gets a little dicey because like Drifblim isn't super thick compared to some other things. But as you see, you still beat a sizable amount. You lose against regular Machamp just because of the rock slides. That's why regular Machamp is better than Shadow Machamp in some scenarios. You still beat a hefty amount of things, but you want shields ideally just because of Icy Wind. So that's Drifblim in the nutshell. Now that's Drifblim. Here's Venusaur. Here's Venusaur's matrix. Remember how I hail Venusaur? So we're gonna put Venusaur the 2s. We'll do Venusaur in the 2 shield, and then we'll add Shadow Venusaur. So I'm gonna highlight particular mons, and then we'll do the shadow analysis after this one. So here's my 2 Venusaurs. So there's 2 Venusaurs. Yep. This is what you want. Don't run some spicy moveset. If you want to elite TM it, I'll show you. Well, it's not really worth the elite TM because you don't yet. You'll see. So here's the 2 shields. Here's 2 shields. Here's your 2s. These are your 2s. These are your 2s. Of course, you're gonna beat freaking Blastoise. So in your 2 shield, you beat Empoleon. The regular one beats well, you can still see for Alligator. I'm not opposed to seeing him per Alligator. You lose against Licky.
You lose against Machamp, and you lose against Shadow Champ with the Shadow version. The regular Venusaur is so good because look at what you beat. You beat Machamp. You don't beat Shadow. Well, you don't beat Shadow either way. You beat regular Machamp. You beat Meganium. You beat Poliwrath. You beat Shrapnel. You also beat Snorlax. Regular Venusaur will beat Snorlax. Unfortunately, Shadow does not just because Shadow Snorlax loses that bulk. But as you see, regular Venusaur versus Shadow is actually really interesting. Well, if you want to use Typhlosion for the beam, you know it's there. You also Shadow Venusaur actually beats Honchkrow. That's another good thing. So Shadow's expensive, but you do flip some matchups. You also beat Lucario. Honchkrow is a good lead. I don't know if a lot of people are going to use it because the availability of an Ultra one isn't too vast. Like Halloween, yes, baby, but we'll see. Like I said, as the season goes by, we'll figure it out. But as you see, the regular version beats a lot of good stuff compared to the Shadow ones. So you might not want to use your TM. Just saying. That's Venusaur. So Venusaur, as you see, make sure you run it. But it does. You'll obviously beat Swampert, but you beat Snorlax. You beat Snorlax. Like beating Snorlax and beating Machamp. Those two are huge. Beating Snorlax, beating Machamp. You don't beat Gengar, of course, because the poison typing resists everything you throw at it. But as you see, regular Venusaur is very powerful. Another one you want to look at, so that's Venusaur, also Swampert. We're going to look at Swampert in both times, and then we'll do that. But as I told you before, be careful of using Charmers, just because like, compared to Ultra League, Charmers don't have that much of prominence. Like, they're good. They're still good. You can still use it. It's just, there's a lot of things that are going to kill you. So, when you run the, oh wait, this is the 2 shield. Oh, let me go back. So we're actually gonna we'll go back to Venusaur and I'll show you the 1 shield because that's the 2 shield. You want to use every shield scenario and make stuff better. That's how you analyze, because this is what I'll do. I'll run the Matrix against 2. And you don't have to do it like I'm doing. You can do it against a longer spectrum of things. But as you see, Venusaur, this is the 2 shield. We're gonna change it to 2s. We're gonna change it to the 1. So this is the 1 shield. So Venusaur in the 1 shield. As you see, Abomasnow still beats the crap out of you, but as you see, the matchups you won before, like Machamp, Shadow Machamp, you beat regular Machamp. In the 1 shield, you'll beat Machamp, you'll beat Shadow Champ as well in the 1 shield. In the 1 shield, regular Venusaur will beat Snorlax still, and you also beat, well, no, you beat pretty much a lot of general things. But as you see, it is here to stay. The regular version has a lot more worth than the Shadow version, so you don't need to use your Elite TM. Even though it's ranked really highly, don't use it. Or that's my recommendation. As you see, the 1 shield is very strong, and in the zeros, Venusaur is very powerful. I want to highlight these ones, and especially Driplim, just to show you Venusaur and Swampert, just to show you just how diverse this meta is. In the zero shield, there's a lot of scenarios that Shadow will win just because it does more damage. As you see here, you beat Lapras only because Shadow Swampert yeets it with a Frenzy Plant. And yeah. You also beat Lucario with the no shield with regular Venusaur, but that's pretty much what it is. So with that, and now we'll do Swampert. We'll do Swampert, and then I'll show you that one. But like I said, if you want to run it, best way to do it, Matrix, do a Matrix. Matrix is the best. I don't usually show matrices on my videos, but just because as you see, it takes a lot of like work to run matrices, but I'd rather show people. So running Swampert, we're running Shadow Swampert. You want Earthquake, you can have Sludge Wave. So what I'm gonna do is I'll run Swampert. I'm gonna run this, but I'm also gonna run the Sludge Wave variant. There's a Sludge Wave. And then we'll run Swampert, Shadow, and then Sludge Wave. We'll do that. So I'm gonna run a sim. I'm gonna run on both the regular version and the Sludge Wave version, just to see if it flips anything. So as you see here, Swampert Shadow beats Blastoise. Well, this is the 2 shield, so we're looking at the 2s first. Any noticeable difference? You still all beat Charizard, which is of course. The Shadow Swampert with Sludge Wave doesn't beat Empoleon just because you don't have an answer with Earthquake. Like Steel's still gonna be here. Steels are still gonna be here, but it's the Earthquake. But it's mostly Hydro Cannon. I think it's just like really like how frail. So with Shadow Swapper with Pit, you beat Ferrothorn with an Earthquake. I'm assuming if you hit it in the 2s. You Licky. Let's see any notable ones. So Hydro Cannon, Earthquake, or the Shadow version beats Shadow Champ in the 2 shield. So you'll beat Shadow Champ. So the Shadow version beats that. Regular Swampert version beats Obstagoon. You beat Poliwrath with the Shadow version. Well, that's what Shadow... I'm assuming it's because the Earthquake KOs it. And that's pretty much it. Another thing noteworthy is Sludge Wave. You somehow beat... I'm guessing it's because of Hydro Cannon. That... I don't know why. Wait, hold on. No, that's regular Swampert. So regular Swampert with Sludge Wave beats Lucario. I'm not sure why, but yeah, it does beat it. Okay, so we have that. And now I'm going to run the 1s. So that's the 2 shield. Now let's run the 1s. As you see, the 1 shield, you will beat Obama Snow in the 1 shield because you beat the shield with that and then you just Sludge Wave it to death. So you beat Obama Snow with the Sludge Wave variant. Sludge Wave variant also kills Obama. It kills Obama Snow. You Blastoise. Let's see, any notable ones. Shadows will take out Drifblim. This is a really interesting one. Regular Swampert takes out Drifblim in the 1s. Trimblim, like I said, you're going to see Drifblims a lot. You're going to take it out in the 1s. You beat Granbull with the regular version, which is kind of interesting. Except you don't beat the Lapras with the Sludge Wave version, which is kind of weird. But that's fine. So regular Swampert does beat Machamp, but Shadow beats Shadow. So you flip it. I would say look out for regular Champ more than Shadow. Shadow's still really scary, but you do practice with it. As you see in the Sims, there are some things that flip and some things that don't. Obstagoon, Shadow beats Obstagoon. There's a lot of things that the Shadow beats. The Shadow beats that the regular version does not beat. And now we're gonna look at the Shadow. I'm gonna go open up, and then we'll go ahead. I'll bring up Charizard too. So let's do Charizard. All right. So as I mentioned, we're gonna bring up Charizard. This video is going a little long, so I'm going to put up Charizard real quick, and then I'm just going to do the Shadow comparison, but I just wanted to show you guys, like, we'll do Shadow Charizard, and Shadow Charizard, just for the hell of it. We'll do Shadow Charizard as well. There's Shadow Charizard. So, here's this. We're not going to do Wing Attack, or we're going to do the Fire Spirit version. You don't want to do Wing Attack. Okay, we'll do that. Because, yes, okay, so that's that. This is the 2 shield. We're going to run against the 2s. Alright, here we go. So, here's the Ultra League meta. Ultra League Matrix Battle. The Ultra League Matrix Battle. Taking all the legendaries. You beat Obama Snow. You beat Clefable. Of course, you're going to lose against Dragonite because Dragonite does resist fire. You beat Excavalier. You beat Lapras with the Shadow version. This is the 2 shields. So you'll beat Lapras with the Shadow version. Because Blastbird does an obscene amount of damage. You also you beat a lot of picks. You beat a lot of picks. A lot of picks. You have very strong matchups. I think the interesting one about here is Honchkrow. Shadow Charizard beats Honchkrow, which is very interesting. You beat Honchkrow, you beat Lapras. You lose against both Machamp just because Rock Slide hits like a truck. And if you, Rock Slide hits like a truck. If it hits you once, you die against either Machamp. So that's Charizard. Now I'm going to do a little Shadow comparison. So we're just going to run the rankings and we'll do Shadows. So let me do this. We're going to go Ultra League. We're going to go to Premier Cup. We'll run Shadows. Now, overall, as you see, Shadows are very powerful. In fact, 4 of the top 10 are Shadows. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean a lot, but it kind of means a lot in terms of, like, your picks and your choices. As you see, this is overall, Shadows are very powerful. Especially Shadow Obama Snow. You see the difference Shadow Obama Snow has compared to its regular cousin. Regular Obama. Regular Obama overall will know as 12, and then Shadow regular is 6. So that's where Obama stands. As you see, Shadows do have a lot. Shadows are very powerful. In the lead, there's also a very commanding list of them. Like we looked at though, make sure you double check, just because some Shadows some Shadows flip matchups. So I would really take a look on that matrix and see what you could find if you're doing this yourself. But as you see, Shadows make up a very strong list. In fact, the #1 closer end switch is Electivire Shadow. And that's because Wild Charge does an obscene amount of damage and Ice Punch just has so much coverage. It's great. It has great coverage. And you beat so many things. You will nuke a lot of things with Electivire, unless it's these following lists right here. Well, Grass and like Mud, and of course Swampert in general. And now, let's get on to this. Alright, I know this one was a little longer, but As you see, you guys got a whole lot of information. My outlook, like you said, there's a lot of things in Ultra Premier that are really good. I'll be doing deep analysis for each individual one, in the upcoming days. But for now, here's the overall outlook of the Spectrum. Shadow versions do make a difference, so if you do plan on using shadows, I will be putting videos out on shadows every day, but in regular and shadows every days, like different variants. So look out for those videos. And be careful about spending your resources. Sometimes the regular version is okay, and you don't need to build a shadow. Shadows are expensive. Stardust is precious. If you don't grind very heavily, you need your Stardust, so just make sure you look out for it. And Drifblim is really good. If you have a hundo, best buddy it ASAP, because it's really that good. In fact, Drifblim is going to be my first video on the Ultra League analysis when I put it out, and I'm going to get that out as soon as I can. But you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching. If you made it to this end part, that was a really long video, but I wanted to make sure you guys just see what I see as far as homework wise. There's a lot of information for Ultra Premier compared to Master Premier, just because it's not Meta Togecore. There's a lot of things that can be good. Rather than like a whole 10 you'll see in Ultra Premier, you could see a lot in Master Premier, you're going to see a lot in Ultra Premier. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. And I will have more Ultra stuff coming in shortly. Have a good one, you guys.